guys, welcome to the third and most important video in the entire series. We decided we'd like to get out in nature, give you guys a different, experience in our lives. We're here in Bozeman, Montana. Anyways, you guys, honestly, the reason I say that this is the most important video is because if you can't learn to present, you're never gonna close the right amount of people in your business. A lot of the times people get out there, they tell them facts. They literally overkill, they puke in their ear, and it just doesn't work. And I've been there, I've done that. Honestly, Nick and I, we used to go out, we used to beg friends and family to join our teams, buy our products, whatever company or whatever, business you're involved in, facts tell, stories sell. That means the best salesman in the world, they use stories to sell whatever it is that they have to offer. Now, a lot of the times, they're really, you have to understand that there's a formula. There's an exact methodical way about approaching a presentation. See, if you just go out, imagine you're Steve Jobs, and they're like, all right, man, we have this new Apple product, and we want you to grab that Apple product, take it out on stage, and talk about it. If you were to literally ramble on, okay, so here are the specs, all right? We've got 8 gigs on this bad boy. It's got a 5 megapixel camera. It's able to have this motion sensor detecting light, and people are gonna be like, well, that sounds cool, but I'm not really compelled. See, Apple was so good at selling, Steve Jobs was so good at selling because he was a good presenter. He was able to get out there and compel people to buy based on a story. He would take everything and put it into a story mode, so that way people were like, oh my God, I see the vision behind this company, and it's not just the product I'm buying, but I'm also buying the vision. You guys see what I'm saying? So here's the deal, you guys. There is a method to presenting, and we like to call it the presentation formula. Keep it simple, keep it laid back, right? But really quick, on this page somewhere, wherever it may be, I don't know where it's going to be exactly, there's going to be a link where you can actually download a PDF that's going to give you the exact presentation formula. Now, it doesn't have to be in that exact order, but as long as you're going through most of those steps, you're going to be able to close at least 66% more people than you were in the beginning. And that's on the very first exposure. As long as you're exposing people in the right way through using our presentation formula, and it's not just mine, all right? I mean, honestly, we adopted this from a guy by the name of Dave Wood who closed 5,000 people in 1 year. So here's the reality, you guys. Whether or not you trust us in our results, trust him in his results, because he closed 5,000 people. And that's all I had to say. I'm like, yo, dude, okay, well, this guy's got a result doing it, and it's obviously a very good result. All right, he pre-formatted the entire invitation exposure process to the point where when people getting on a call with him or he had presented to them, they were like, all right, here's my credit card, I'm in. So anyways, you guys, Nick's gonna start off with that very first key to this entire process, and that's called the attention getter. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy the video.
All right, you guys, so when you're starting out your video or your presentation, the very first thing that you're gonna need to do is grab someone's attention. But more importantly than just grabbing their attention, you need to break their attention, because their attention is on something else when they're hopping on your webinar or they're hopping on your video. They're on their phone, they got Facebook open, they got like Google open, they got, some random other websites open. So you need to grab their attention, break their attention, and get it on what you're doing. The best ways to do that, you guys, is these right here. Tell a story. Paul's gonna tell his story in a little bit and show you exactly how to do that, or give a quote, picture, fact, ask a question, get them thinking. Just be different, you guys. Be unique, be yourself, have positive energy, and be excited. See, I've seen a lot of videos where I go online and I go on YouTube and I watch something and it's just some boring ass video, some dude sitting in like one location just like, what's up, my name's Bob, welcome to this video. I'm going to be talking about product XYZ throughout this company presentation. I hope you enjoy this video. And it's just like, exit, I'm done with this video. See, if I hop on a video and someone is just like really inspired, they're asking me questions, they're telling their story, they're just unique, they're different, as opposed to someone like maybe hopping on like flashing luxury houses, maybe a nice car, that's so cliche. Maybe you could show like a picture of the car that you're currently driving so it relates with them. And then you tell a story behind that. See, in a presentation that you're going to see tomorrow, you guys, if you're on my list, is of the car that I'm currently driving, like a 1997 Subaru, and then I go into my story, my background on why I'm doing this industry, how I'm not in it for the material things, how I'm in it for the experiential things. So just be different, be unique, you guys, and that's gonna allow you to grab their attention right away.
So the second step of the formula, guys, is to establish rapport. And excuse me if I speak fast, I get really excited about this stuff because I absolutely love teaching people how to present effectively, because once I learned, honestly, it changed the game for me. But that being said, establishing rapport. Now, here's the question that most prospects in general are going to ask once they're sitting down in front of you or once they're sitting at their computer screen. They're like, what makes this person qualified to actually tell me how to do something, right? And so I want you to understand right now that if you haven't been through it, they won't listen to it. So you don't need an exact result in order to start. See, I've heard so many times that you don't need to start to be great. You don't need to be great to start. You just need to start to be great. And I believe that's the truth. Because when I started using this presentation formula, when I started trying to establish rapport without a single result in my pocket, not a single dime in my pocket, I was like, well, how am I going to do that? I can't really, because I don't have a result. The reality is you don't need one. All you need to do is establish rapport. See, the best salesmen in the world, they understand that you don't need to be a friend with someone in order to establish rapport. And if you are able to establish rapport, if you're actually qualified, people see you as the expert and they see you as the qualified person to take them from point A to point B where you actually solve their problem, then you're good to go. And now, like I said, here's the thing. You can tell them a story as opposed to going into all the results. Now, let's say you do have a little result. Let's say, you know, you've generated 5 leads online. You can market that result, but let's say you haven't even done that. What I would do personally, because I know a lot of you out there who haven't done that yet, what I would do personally is tell them a story of my own past struggle. And I'll tell you guys one right now, because I really want you guys to understand that this will work for you as long as you're, you know, formatting in the correct way. So I like to do past, agitation, solution. And this is gonna be a little off, you know, just a little bit off, but at the same time, you're gonna start to see the formula. So anyways, you guys, about 2.5 years ago, I just got started in my business. I wasn't getting any results. I was working a dead-end job, literally mowing lawns every single day, 12-hour days. I got sick and tired, you guys, and not only mentally sick, but physically sick. My body started to go. And it was a point in time where I was really depressed. I was really sad. I felt like, you know, there wasn't really hope for the future. And I think, honestly, man's greatest gift is hope in the future, because that allows you to have power in the present. And I had no power. I had no hope. I was at a point in time where I got so physically sick that I went to the doctor, actually the chiropractor, and I asked him, yo, what's wrong with my back? Because I thought it was something in my back. You know, I thought something was pinched, a pinched nerve, and I started to lose all the strength and muscle in my legs and my ass, and I couldn't even walk. I got to a point where, you know, after I was at work for a couple of days and I started feeling really weak and I could barely walk, and I was like limping around. You know, I was like, yo, I can't really work this job anymore. I need to figure out, you know, what's going on with me. So I went to the chiropractor and I asked him, what's going on, you know, and he's like, well, I can't really work on you because what started to happen, and this really scared him and me personally, but I didn't want to show it. I started having drooping in the left side of my face. My mouth, when I smiled, I couldn't smile with this side. My eye wouldn't really move normally with this eye. And he was nervous. He's like, you know, I don't know if this is a pinched nerve. You might have had a miniature stroke, so I don't want to work on you yet until I get the clearance from a doctor. And so that's when I went to, what was it, like I think I went to this just little urgent care place, and I talked to this medical doctor who'd been involved in the field for 20 years. Sweet, just a gorgeous, sweet lady. She's about, you know, I would say 60 years old. Anyway, she was talking to me, and she was a little bit nervous about me. She started doing all these physical tests, and she said that I had super high heart rate and super high blood pressure, and she's like, this is not normal in a 20-year-old. This shouldn't be happening to you. Were you around some sort of chemical? And I was like, no, I'm just mowing lawns. I mean, it could have been the chemicals in the lawn. She's like, that wouldn't happen. So she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna send you home right now. And I was literally like, I could barely stand. I mean, you guys don't understand. I got to a point in time, and this was over a period of 3 weeks, you guys. I got to a point in time where I couldn't even lift my foot higher than a curb. And I remember one time I was going with my girlfriend to get some ice cream. I lifted my foot, and it wouldn't go all the way, and I slipped and fell, and it was the most embarrassing thing in the world. I'm like, I'm 20 years old, this should not be happening to me, right? Isn't that what we all ask? And so long story short, she was really nervous about me. She called me up and said, Paul, honestly, I'm really scared for your health. I think there's something seriously wrong. You need to go to the ER. And that night, I didn't want to pick up the phone because I was scared too, but I just kept telling myself, you know, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get better. And I went to the ER that night, and at that point in time, they did blood test, CAT scan, EKG, actually 2 CAT scans for tumors and all sorts of weird stuff, an EKG, all sorts of different tests on me that ended up costing around 7 to 8 grand, put me in the hole, right? Because I didn't have the money to do it. I didn't even have health insurance at the time. And I came out of that place, and they're like, we don't know what's wrong with you, Paul. We don't know. You're like a mystery kid. We don't know what's going on. It might be hormones, it might not be. We did all these tests. We can't see anything. You just have a higher white blood cell count, which is obviously normal in your case. Because I was super weak, I could barely walk, I didn't even want to eat, and so I got really scared. But at that moment in time, there was just something that clicked in my mind. I was like, okay, man, I'm pissed off at not being able to walk. I'm pissed off that I can't even go out and do what I want to do, and I have to rely on others to pay for me. I was tired of it, because it had already been happening for a month and a half. I was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. I couldn't pay my bills. I lost my job. My girlfriend was paying for everything, and I was just like so pissed off that I told myself, I'm not gonna allow this to get me down and hold me down. I'm gonna get better. Paul, you are going to get better. This is the true test of a man right here, right? 20 years old. It shouldn't be happening. And at that point in time, I remember I was like, I'm getting better and better. And after that, about a week later, I got a little bit better, a little bit stronger. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and after about a month, I was able to start walking up my stairs again. And that was the biggest accomplishment in the world for me. But it was all because I told myself I could believe, right? And at that point in time, I really decided, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna start running with my business. I'm gonna start making stuff happen. And I started to do that. We get to realize that I just told you a problem, a past agitation, and guess what? The solution was to work on my business because I wasn't doing all that I could do. And I believe that depression hit me so hard, like a ton of bricks, that it literally made me sick. But at that point in time, I probably just compelled some of you guys to do something. I could have told you guys, hey, buy this, because that's what it, allowed me to get out, but I didn't tell you that. But my point is, you could have done that. I could have done that. And now the reason I tell you that story is not because most people have been through that problem. You'd be like, how do I relate with this person? The reason I told you that is not because of that. The reason I told you is because most people can relate with struggle. Most people can relate with the fact that maybe at once or twice in their life they had to have someone pay for their bills because they got out of a job. Maybe they didn't have a job. Most people can relate with the struggle. So any type of struggle you've ever had, that's going to allow you to establish rapport.
All right, so we know that section was pretty long, you guys, but one of the most important parts, because the better job you do at building that rapport and showing them your past, your pain, your struggle, what you went through, literally everything that you go from here on out, you guys, they're gonna listen to you. I've had times where I've hopped on calls with someone and I've gone into my story, my background, what's happened to me in the past, why I'm doing this, and I didn't even talk much about my company, and I literally had this girl tell me, Nick, okay, what, I'm ready to get started. What do I gotta do? I'm ready to sign up. So Paul did a very good job at that, you guys. You're gonna get better the more times you tell your story, the more times you present. But number 3, number 4 is problem solution, okay? So you're gonna wanna identify what they're struggling with, and that's gonna kind of play a role as a part in your story. So some examples, rent. Are they struggling to pay their rent? Are they struggling with student loans, to put themselves through school? Maybe they're struggling to, just put groceries on the table for their family, you're gonna be able to relate with them with that once you're explaining the problem as a part of your story. You see where we're going with this, you guys, but once you have the problem established, like, if they're in another company, are they struggling to recruit more reps? Are they struggling to generate more leads? Once you have that and you tell that to them, they're gonna see you as that problem solver, and that's where you can get into the solution and show them how to solve their problem.
All right, you guys, so on to the next step in the formula, presenting the benefits. Now, a lot of this I like to attribute to the fact that you're going to instill a vision into this person's life. And the way I do that, it's not that difficult. People could be like, oh my God, I'm scared. How do I present a vision or, instill a vision in someone? But the best leaders in the world always instill a vision before they do anything else. And guess what? The masses follow because they resonate with that same vision. So check this out. The reason I buy a weight loss product, let's say I buy a protein powder that's going to make me lose weight, right? I don't buy the protein powder to have it sit around in the house or just to drink it for the sole purpose of the taste or drink. I buy the weight loss powder because I want to lose weight, because I have a vision of myself in the future being, fit, ripped, hot, abs, right? Looking good on the beach. And that's the reality. I buy it because of that vision. So instead of saying, by the way, this stuff tastes great, I would never say that. I mean, yeah, they'll taste it for themselves when they try it. But the reality is, hey man, imagine yourself, all right, 3 months from now with a fit, solid, ripped pair of abs. That's what I would tell them. And guess what? They're like, oh my God, you're right. I would look really good. All right, perfect. I'll buy it, because they have that instilled vision. See, that's called activating value. So the next one, if you want to look younger, let's say you have a skincare product, right? And you're just selling that. And you're like, okay, well, you should buy the skincare product because it's really great on your skin, because it's healthy for you. People don't buy this stuff because it's healthy for them. They buy it because they have an instilled vision that in the future they're going to look 10 years younger. You see my point, like we were talking about in the second video? That's the reason people buy it, because they have this instilled vision. Now the next one, no hassle taxes. Let's say you're selling some tax service that does, a done-for-you tax service. People don't buy the tax service because they want an extra software clogging up their computer. The reason I buy tax software, or just any done-for-you tax service, is because I have this vision that I'm going to be able to fish that day with my son, because it's sometime in April. I'm not going to be sitting there pulling my hair out because I have to do taxes. You guys starting to follow me? It's called instilling a vision. What are the benefits? Not what's the product, not, is this healthy? Is this great? No. what are the benefits? What do they see their future looking like because of using your product or service?
All right, you guys, so once people have that vision painted of how that product is going to help them in the future, you know, like Paul talks about the benefits, the next thing that you want to do is provide social proof. Now, you can completely fuck up every other part of the presentation, but if you get this one right, you guys, you know, you're going to sell a lot more people. Now, social proof, simply put, is just testimonies. You know, when you have people come up either on stage or on your webinar or in your video, have them share their stories. You know, have them make it short, sweet, and to the point. And now, just like Paul talked about PAS, you know, have them share, you know, a little bit about their past, you know, their agitation, their solution, and what they got out of using your product, you know, the direct result, as opposed to saying like, this company is so great, it's so amazing, I love the culture, I love the people. Have them share a specific story of how they use, you know, your product. Like, let's say it's a tax software, like Paul just said, you know, how they used your product to save this much money on their taxes, and it allowed them to have more time freedom, you know, to go fishing with their kids, go on vacations, do things like that. So these testimonies, this social proof, is what's really going to drive the point home to your audience.
All right, you guys, so you want to give them a reason to take action. Now, I like to talk in terms of scarcity, deadlines, and urgency, and I know of no better tool that's allowed me to sell more on the spot than using these three tactics right here. Now, I'm not talking about let's be negative, let's tell them, well, you know, your grandma's gonna die if she doesn't buy my product, if you don't buy my product, because that's just being stupid. But I used to use a lot of scarcity, a lot of deadlines, and a lot of urgency in order to sell instantly on the spot. I mean, there were times where I literally had 15 people in the office in a day, and out of those 15 people, we closed 10 people on the spot because I was telling them, hey, there's only so many spots. Hey, by the way, you have till tomorrow in order to decide. And they're like, well, shoot, I don't want to wait till tomorrow because what if I don't get back to you? Or I was saying, hey, by the way, I'm getting 36 people started this week. Now you're the 8th person I've talked to. You could be in front of, what, 28 people if you decide to join now. And just saying, out of those 36 people, 3 of them are gonna make an extra, you know, however much a month. You know, these other ones are gonna have their product paid for free, whatever. But I guess it's all dependent on you, right, when you want to start. And they're like, oh my God, I don't want to, you know, miss out on that offer. Cool, I will take it, right? But I want to tell you guys something. Here's the thing. You have to understand that this is a skill set. All right, using kind of tonalities, a certain type of language, yeah, it's important, but it's also important to understand that these are going to help you to sell more instantaneously on the spot before they leave, simply building a sense of scarcity. So for instance, let me give you an example, you guys. Right now, you know, at the donut shop, we are actually going out of business. All right, you don't want to lie to people if it's not true. Let's just say I have a really solid donut shop, Voodoo Donuts, Oregon, perfect example, right? A lot of people know what that is. Let's just say we're going out of business, and our last 1,000 donuts we're gonna be making here this week. You know what's gonna happen? They announced that we're only making 1,000 more donuts, and the entire nation's gonna go nuts. They're gonna be like, oh, we gotta get to Oregon to buy those donuts because there's only 1,000 left. Oh, and by the way, yeah, after saying this message, we only have 900. Only 800. You see what I'm saying? Now, another thing, a deadline, you guys. Tomorrow, this is coming off the market. I know you guys will probably see it in emails, right? But here's the thing. Tomorrow, this is coming off the market permanently. It's not coming back out. We only have, you know, till midnight tonight in order for you to get this product. Otherwise, it's off the market. You can't get it anymore. People are going to buy based on that fear of, you know, loss. And the last thing, urgency, I like to talk about, you guys. Let's just say right now, like I told you guys earlier, we have this many people starting. By the way, you know, next week, the reason you want to start now sooner than later is because next week I'm going to have about 30 people started. You may as well be in the beginning, or, you know, you may as well be ahead of them instead of these guys ahead of you. So that being said, you guys, stay tuned for the next one.
All right, so the next thing, you guys, is an irresistible offer. Now, this is what's really gonna set people over the edge of why they should join your team. See, there's a lot of other people out there. Maybe someone has seen your video online and they've watched a couple other leaders' videos online. They're surfing around YouTube, looking up like Amway review, Herbalife review, and they've watched a few different videos. They're watching your presentation. What separates your team apart from the other teams? Now, some things right here you guys can use, you know, like coaching calls. Are you gonna have like a weekly webinar that you are doing? Do you have like a private team training website? You know, maybe you have like audios, you know, maybe you have like additional software that's gonna help them generate leads, that's gonna help them build their business, you know, free reports, you know, bonus products. See, any type of additional product that you have, guys, it plays the psychology in their mind, and they're thinking, okay, this person is obviously gonna provide me with more value than the other leader out there. So if you just figure out what irresistible offer you want want to offer to them. It's going to make them, you know, kind of push them over the edge to go with your team, you as a leader versus someone else.
All right, you guys, so these next couple of steps are pretty intermittent. And the reason I say that is because you first take away the risk, then you set a clear expectation. So they're like, okay, well, even if I do, you know, decide to get started, I'll go hard with it. But if I don't, I get my money back. And right. And most of the companies that you guys are involved with have some sort of money back guarantee, maybe a 30-day policy, 14-day policy, whatever it is. Just add that to your presentation. So really quick, you guys, I want to tell you guys a story about Frank Kern. Now, Frank Kern was saying, you know, let's just say I'm a guy on a used car sales lot, right? And I'm just trying to get cars into people's driveways as fast as I can. What would I do? Well, I would use a simple method of risk reversal. I would literally take away the risk to the point where they're like, oh my God, yeah, this is the best offer I've ever had in my life. And the way he formatted was, he said, you know, I do a radio ad, and I would tell people, come down to, you know, Jimmy Bob's car salesman lot and get your free car today. Yeah, that's right, you heard it right, free on us. That means you literally drive off the lot with a free car. Okay, and actually on top of that, I'll give you $100 to take your wife to a nice dinner. Come down to the car. You know, most people are like, holy moly, what are you talking about? Is this guy lying to me? $100 and a free car, at least for a month. And so anyways, you know, they get down to the lot and he's like, all right, man, drive this car off the lot. Here's your $100, take your wife out to a nice dinner. And then by the way, you know, in 30 days, if you really like the car, you enjoy the car, you know, he basically got the product in their hand. It's just a cool little sales tactic. If you like the car, you're happy with the car, your wife was, you know, happy with the dinner, keep the $100 and also keep the car, and we'll just bill you, you know, for the car in 30 days. If you're not happy with the car, keep the $100 on us. Anyways, return the car, you know, after 30 days, you're good to go. And so he was like, you know, about half of the people would return the car and keep the $100. And guess what that cost you? $500. And the other 5 cars, the people that kept the car, all right, they paid for the car. You made way more profit. You only spent about $500 in advertising minus the time it took, you know, for them to drive the car off the lot. So that's a perfect example of risk reversal. Now, let's just say I'm selling a product online and I'm saying, you know, it's honestly this simple. You don't have to get too technical like that. I just wanted to tell you guys a story. I love telling stories. But let's just say you want to take the risk away, right? Go into your company's product policy. Let's say your product, you know, as long as they haven't opened the container or whatever and drank out of it and they're trying to return an empty can or whatever, right? Let's just say they haven't drank any of their product or used any of their product and they want to return the product because they weren't really happy with the purchase. All you got to say is, let's say, all right, and by the way, if you're not completely 100% absolutely satisfied with this product or this purchase, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Don't worry, we got you. We'll give you your money back. And on a lot of info products, what's cool is a lot of the times they get to keep the product and they get their money back. Anyways, that's a cool way to risk reversal, right? And even sometimes they'll be like, yeah, we'll give you $10 on top of that. So that's a great way to take away risk. And they're like, holy crap, that offer is amazing. But right after that, you want to set a clear expectation. And that simply means telling them, oh, you know, you will get your money back. However, if you're serious about this, if you're serious about your future in this business, you're actually going to commit to at least 3 months, because see, after 3 months, and number one, it increases your retention because they're going to purchase more product from you or your service, as well as that risk, you know, you did take it away in the beginning, but at the same time, they're not going to be able to return a product if it's been 90 days. So you're just going to have a bigger retention by setting clear expectations. So for instance, I would say, you know, 100% money back guarantee, and we'll give you $10 back for buying this product. However, if you're serious about building your business, all right, you're gonna stick around for 3 months, because that's how I've noticed that's how long it usually takes people to really get involved and understand the concept behind the business so they're able to succeed.
All right, so the last step, you guys, and by far the most important step, is give a clear CTA, which is a call to action. See, when you're done with your entire presentation, people are gonna be so compelled to join your team that they're gonna be like, all right, what do I do next? You know, I'm ready to get started. So if you tell them what to do, all you need to do is just be direct, be clear, you guys, crystal clear, and obviously tell them what to do. See, people need clear directions, and they actually did a study, you know, in the military where they wanted to get the soldiers to follow directions and follow orders, and they did a little psychological test where they figured out 3-step call to actions on telling people what to do is where their brain can understand, and they're like, okay, that seems simple enough. So just as an example, you guys, you know, if you're doing a presentation in person, you're in front of a room of people, you know, you would say something like this. You'd be like, all right, you guys, so we appreciate every single one of you for coming out tonight, you know, checking out Great Beauty, Great Business, or whatever it may be. And if what we said throughout this entire presentation, you know, makes sense to you and you're ready to get started, here's what I want you to do next. I want you to stand up out of your seat, walk to the back of the room, and fill out the order form to get started. Something like that, you guys. Or if you're doing a presentation online, like a webinar, you can say something pretty similar to that. You say, okay, you guys know I appreciate you for watching this entire video, watching this entire webinar. If what I said makes sense to you and you're ready to get started, here's what I want you to do next. On this page that you're on right now, you're gonna see a link that's beneath this video. I want you to click that link, go to the other side, you're gonna see an order form on there, fill out that order form, and click the Buy Now button to get started, and I welcome you to the team. So something as simple as that, you guys, you can see that in 3-step call to actions work best, and you guys are gonna find that you're gonna increase your closing ratio and just completely blow it through the roof.
All right, you guys, so that wraps up the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Honestly, it was a little bit longer, but we really wanted to nail it in your head how important it is to become a professional presenter, that there actually is a format to influence people on a deeper level. Because if you're able to present like Steve Jobs, you're gonna get the result that guy had. Now, I'm not saying everyone's gonna be Steve Jobs, but I can tell you one thing. Presenting like this is gonna allow you to close 66% of more people, because it did for me anyways. That's just my result. So maybe, disclaimer here, it was my result, that was Nick's result. It's gonna allow you to close 66% more people on the first exposure if you're doing it right? And sometimes it's maybe the second or third. But that being said, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the series. All right, and
yeah, so we're gonna be sending you guys a message tomorrow with actually an example of a live presentation that we did. And this presentation, you guys, is what I use to enroll hundreds of people into my business. So just pay attention, check your email inbox, you guys, leave a comment below, like this video, share it with people on your team. And with that being said, we will see you tomorrow.
Should have recorded that, dude.
Are we good? And see, in today's society.
All right, you guys. So these next couple of stacks are pretty stacks. But the guy by the name of why am I messing up? Once you get on a roll and messing up, dude, I'll tell you what. You don't want to get on a roll. I got so good bennies, bitches. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about in this video.